children as well.
Well, what do you think about those people who talk about the administration and they name everybody that's a neocon or hawk, and they give Donald Trump a pass, and he surrounded himself with these neocons, these hawks that think on war. Some may think on war with China, some may think on war with Venezuela, some may think on war with Iran, and some may think on war with Russia or China. But they all think on war to maintain empire. Why does Donald Trump get a pass on this when he's supposed to be, quote unquote, the commander in chief?
Society has been divided, therefore conquered. The people on whatever chain they've chosen to wear, in this case the Trump chain, they can't admit that things are not. If some are, you can see that there's a lot of people that are starting to speak out against it, but they can't admit it because it means that they are flawed themselves and they bought the lies, and they're continuing to buy them, thinking that by believing these compounded lies, it's going to change, and it is not going to change. It's really unbelievable to see this. But look, man, the empire is falling. The empire is crashing. Is taking these people with it. And unfortunately, what people do, they don't care about what happens to anybody as long as it's not happening to them. And once they see, again, their cost of living continuing to rise on the same mechanisms that are wiping out the economy, fostering the greatest wealth transfers they've ever seen, then maybe they'll start to wake up when they realize I don't have enough cash to send my kid to school, can't buy him clothes. Where's his future going? Maybe they'll turn around, but I think the disconnect that people are experiencing, it reaches a spiritual level. It's not just what people can quantify. It comes down to, I really believe, a spiritual dispossession. I believe that President Trump has aligned himself with Satan. I believe he is a devil, along with the rest of this administration. And the book, which I have right here, read every day of my life, sitting right next to my desk here, it's all outlined right there. It's truth. It's in our face, and people can't face it because then they have to realize that there are forces that they can't control, and the only way to maybe sidestep that is to realign themselves with the source. And this is what I've been telling people to do for, it seems like 1,000 years right now. But they're devils. They're not even human beings. None of them are. They're not alive either. They're sucking life from the economy, from the middle class and everything. Look, the United States is the hub. We're falling. The world is isolating itself, realizing that all these nonsensical, fake stories about, we just got Besson out this morning talking about there's a potential China deal on the horizon. I mean, look, because it realized that the neutral stance with regard to tariffs is coming up. So now it's okay, a deal might be possible. It's narrative control. It all is. And again, it's all lies and deceptions. And that's exactly what we're going to continue to get. Just 2 weeks ago, President Trump said our economy could not possibly be stronger, and it's never, nothing's been seen like this before. And what he's talking about is his people. When he says we need a weaker dollar, when he says we need low rates, he's not talking to you and me. He's talking to the 1% and 2%ers who, via this mechanism, are raping the United States into obscurity and an erasure of everything. And this is, again, it's about people becoming subservient to the system, slaves to the system, dependent on the system, and they've thrown their hands up. And instead of taking action, they just don't know what to do with themselves. So they're stuck in some corner, sucking their thumbs off. Meanwhile, like I said, they're losing it all. And they can't stop. They can't reconcile that the person that they put their faith in is a criminal, a pedophile, quite obviously, is doing nothing but lie and deceive and continue to do so. And I also believe, look at the man looks like. He's rotting right before the public. His body is deteriorating. It's a fact. He's literally, I believe, under the judgment of God, and he's coming apart as a public display. That's really what this is all about. And unfortunately, we've seen this before throughout history. In nations fall, people perish by the millions. We are going to face a moment like that, a resource problem, which we're already seeing. Not a single policy put in place by this thing, Trump, not human entity, is helping the United States whatsoever on any level whatsoever. Nothing is being put up to stop the surge of inflation, the rising cost of living for people, the fostering of the greatest wealth transfer is in full effect, and the people are paying for it. And this is exactly what's going on.
Do you believe that the reason that some of them are almost cult-like in their belief for what Trump is saying and what any of the administrations would have said is because they prefer illusion to despair?
It is a cult. That when people become spiritually dispossessed, they will follow anything into wherever they go, into the pit, if necessary. Human psychology is a very complicated subject, and some people are susceptible to hypnotic suggestion. For example, they believe the lies when something is repeated over and over and over and over and over again. Like, for example, President Trump says, "Believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me." People believe it. No matter what it is, no matter what the lie is, the deception or the distraction is. The man is the devil. There's no doubt in my mind. He does not serve the God that you and I serve. And people are choosing to serve him as opposed to serving God himself. And you can't serve two masters. We know that as well. So these spiritually dispossessed people will follow their cult leader to their own death, their own demise, and that of their family and their children. We've seen this before. Never a mass hypnosis, I think, like we're seeing now, but half the nation realizes that there's a problem. And out of that half, there's maybe 1% that actually are doing anything about it. But it's that 1% that I believe are the ones that are going to have to lead the way moving forward. And people just need to embrace it, realizing that that's unfortunately the way it's going. And this is not new. We've seen this throughout history over and over again. We've never seen it here in the United States to the degree we have now. But it's really it's more than anything else. It's a spiritual war that we're seeing here, and the devils are running the show.
Well, Greg, a few days ago, or maybe a week or so ago, there was a big brouhaha about Trump and Vance taking on the Fed, and how, and I knew this would get you. Go ahead and tell us what is really going on behind the scene, and tell us.
It's too simple. What does Trump want and Vance? What does the Federal Reserve want? The Federal Reserve wants to inflate. Every single bank has a single power. That is their ability to inflate. When you have a sitting president and vice president saying, we need a weaker dollar, how does that help we the people? It doesn't. Our cost of living is skyrocketing. Our economy is dissolving. In finance and economics, there are only, and I'm going to repeat this for the millionth time for everyone, there's only two fundamental truths. You can take the entire spectrum of finance and economics, every little facet. It only boils down to two things. Number one, to have a strong nation and a strong economy, you need a strong currency. So when you hear a president, a vice president, or a central bank whose product is debt, currency being used, that's saying we need a weaker dollar, you know they're working together. They both want the same thing. Artificially suppressed rates. Nothing could make a central bank happier than keeping rates suppressed, which means they got to devalue the currency moving forward, vastly expand the debt. Again, think big, beautiful bill. There's never been in the history of this nation, go back to George Washington, a president that's been a better friend to the Federal Reserve. They want the same things. If they want, it's a show. It's bread and circuses here. The so-called battle, which we're going to see really get going tomorrow when the Fed does cut rates. Oh, it's not enough. President Trump has demanded hundreds of basis points lower with regard to the federal funds, which could put us all into a negative rate environment, meaning people have to pay for the privilege of keeping their cash in an institution. It's an incredible thing. So the alignment here between Washington and the Federal Reserve, who's the real government, who funds it all? What do we have? We don't have the cash for any of this thing. When Trump wants to buy, let's say, a stake in Intel, which we just did, for example, in July, just recently, he's got to get on the phone with Powell, say, listen, I need the cash for this. Powell says, how much do you need? And he sets it aside. It's a game that they're just playing here. It's not real. It's staged. Everything. They already have their scripts. Trump has his. Powell has his. It's a mechanism of deception on a massive scale. So again, realizing that central banks, their power resides in one thing: their ability to inflate. When you have a sitting president and vice president saying we need a weaker dollar, the Federal Reserve, they couldn't be happier to hear that. It means they get to print more of their add digits to a screen, inflate the system here, makes them stronger exponentially, artificially suppress rates. How does the central bank keep rates suppressed? Can't just say it. It's not a magic trick. They have to create the currency out of nothing, which is obviously purchasing power negative, get into the debt market and buy the debt, and then explode the debt here. This is, again, the end phase. So you have President Trump, Vance on the same page as Federal Reserve. Meanwhile, for the public, who has no idea how this works, they're putting on their little show. It's another grand deception by devils, and that's all it is. And it will lead to, what is it doing here? Record highs for the stock market, counting on more easy money, dissolving the purchasing power of the currency, wiping out the economy. U.S. industry is dying. Consumers don't consume. So if consumers can't consume, what happens? Factories don't produce. Factories are dying. President Trump's big lie, we're going to kill the dollar more. Cheers from the crowd. Meanwhile, they don't think, well, hold on a minute. Weaken the dollar more. That means it will cost me $1 last week. It's not going to cost me $2 this week. They don't think that. See, people never generally look out for their own best interest. They look at a cult leader like Trump, for example, who's way worse than a cult leader. He's a devil. And then they throw all their faith in him, obviously in the wrong place here. Can't serve two masters. Serve that guy. Meanwhile, forgetting about everything else. We've been warned about all this. This is just an unfolding of events that have been foretold to us. And it's going to get much worse from here as the system is dissolved. And the 1% and 2%ers this is their golden age, their alignment with the central bank. Trump being one of the top of the food chain right now. He has turned the Oval Office into a cryptocurrency empire for him and his sons. There's no legislation. There's not a single lifeline being thrown out to our nation. Again, we would need to strengthen the currency, not weaken it, to rebuild our economy from the bottom up. If anyone would just take a moment to just open up a window and say, okay, is Greg right? When were the most prosperous times in the United States economy? Is it a time of artificially suppressed rates in a weak currency or higher rates in a stronger currency? People don't know these things. It's obviously when the currency is stronger and much higher rates, that's when our economy booms. What we're seeing now is the deliberate takedown of the system. This is no accident why we're here.
Do you believe that they're getting desperate now with the emergence of BRICS and other alternative monetary systems? Do you believe that the United States is now acting more irrational because they see the emergence of something outside of their total power, or do you believe that it is all one facade?
The 1% and 2% realize the United States has done. They realize the alliances that are going on around the world here to sidestep the dollar, to sidestep U.S. trade and everything else. So what are they doing here? They say, okay, we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to pillage the United States while it falls, rape it, take everything they can, and then get out, while they leave everyone else here. That's what this is all about, the fall of an empire, period, the end. And the only thing that the United States can do, again, to keep the illusion going is kill the currency further, artificially suppress rates, vastly inflate the debt, make sure they fund wars, which were supposed to end on day one, make sure prices stay inflated by killing the dollar, again, also supposed to end on day one. You can't make any of this stuff up. But this is what people, I've warned people, about trap doors being set for them for as far back as you want to go, and they willingly just walk right through them. They fall right through them. And this is how it works. People have chosen to not think and just follow. They become sheep on a grand scale. Not people who follow our work. People who follow our work, I think, get it. But we need more. We need a lot more people like those who follow our work to understand what's happening. And look, man, we're not sitting here just talking for fun. We're sitting here because I want people, and so do you, to do something about it. Not just sit back, to take action, go to Truth Social and blow it all up. Look at the play on words here. Truth Social. It's all lies. Everything. There's not a single truth. The man can't tell the truth. It's impossible to do. When you, of course, align yourself with dark forces, it's nothing but lies that can come out of your mouth. Cover-ups, deceptions. That's all. If we had a real leader, the first thing that we could fix this. As of now, we could still fix this, although we're probably very close to the edge. We need to, again, the bottom line is return purchasing power to the currency, not take it away as Vance and Trump are calling for. We return purchasing power to the currency. The consumer can start to consume. Our factories wake up. We start rebuilding our economy from the inside. The mechanisms that are in place guarantee that this will get much worse.
So what do you say, and how is that connected to the Ukrainian war, the pivot to Asia, the warships off of the coast of Venezuela? How is all that connected, Greg? Because it is connected.
It's all connected, of course. Funding for wars will never stop. War, the acts of war, kinetic activity here, build up to war, feeds the military-industrial complex. How the whole system functions on credit and debt. That's what we have. And now it seems more so than ever, more propaganda, more lies and deceptions. But of course, it all ties in together. And, it's not going to stop. I explained this to people as we were moving into the presidential selection. Oh, Greg, you're wrong. Wars are going to end on day one. Trump does what he says. I said, no, they won't. They're going to go on, and they're going to go on and on and on. And any other thing you could think about, I said this then, and I say it again here, is going to continue to inflate the system. If that an inflating system involves what? Killing the currency, creating more out of nothing, borrowing more cash into existence on an epic scale. Again, think Big Beautiful Bill. They laugh at us. Big Beautiful Bill. They use a title like that to laugh at the same people that are supporting the thing, Trump. Okay. If Biden was doing something like this, they'd go crazy. But it's unbelievable, really. Merging corporations here. The Trump state capitalism is what they're calling it. Merging corporations with government. The same corporations that are going to be issuing stablecoin tokens that people are going to be forced to transact in. Trump signed this into law in July. The Stablecoin Genius Act. Again, their book dictates they have to tell you first. Remember Trump calling himself a stable genius? Even if it's code. Stablecoin Genius Act. It's all coded. They do this. Or invariably, they tell people first. When you hear a president say, well, we need a weaker dollar, we need artificially expressed rates. Do people say why? No, they don't. They just hear these words, and some reason, because it's coming out of some authority figure who's rotting before our very eyes, they think it's the right thing to do. It's saying, hold on a minute. My cost of living is skyrocketing. Why do I need a weaker dollar? Oh, because that's going to make our products cheaper overseas. This is the lie. And then the people are going to jump for joy for American products. And then our factories are going to wake up now. It's an epic lie. I exposed it at the time. I'm re-exposing it now. Greg, you're wrong. President Trump is smarter than you because he's a businessman. Trump is not a businessman. Trump is a real estate investor. That's all he is. He did not make his money in business. Trump condoms. Yes, he has condoms for sale. Trump steaks failed. Trump airlines failed. Trump casinos, 3 of them failed. You name it. The man has had more failed businesses in history. He's not a businessman in any way, shape, or form. And he has no idea how to run a nation. He knows how to run it into the ground. Along with the people that are around him, all multi-billionaires extorting whatever they can out of the nation while it's being flattened out. That's what we have here. And this is what people chose. They had no choice. There was no election here in the United States. And there never will be again. And Trump already said that as the run up to the last election. So, I mean, again, another tale that they tell these kind of people, aligned with forces that are very, very dark. And again, they tell you the truth, and then they think people don't hear it because, again, it's about free will. If people push back even just a little bit, they can't do it. But people don't push back. People have become, again, divided and therefore conquered. They don't push back. Don't know how to push back. They don't know what to do with themselves anymore other than suffer and surrender. It's a terrible thing.
And why do you think that the people think that he is for them when he has surrounded himself with 14 billionaires? I mean, 14 billionaires in his administration, and yet he's for the people. How could they even buy that garbage.
Because they've been deceived, and they refuse to believe they've been deceived. It's an amazing thing to think about so-called evangelicals are the ones that really back Trump.